So we knew that DJI wasn't going to be quiet for an entire year, right? It would be a little bit unrealistic to think that the #1 drone manufacturer in the world would just sit on the sideline while other people had the spotlight. No. DJI sort of subtly gave us a gentle FU with the Mavic Mini. We're going to talk about it, so stick around. What's good, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Original Dobo, and this channel is all about drone and tech related content. So if that interests you at all, you may want to hit that subscribe button before you leave this video. So earlier last week, the Mavic Mini was all but confirmed from DJI when FCC documents were leaked out, showcasing some of the specs and features of this drone. We have a good understanding, thanks to several articles out there online, indicating what this new drone is going to be and what it's going to do. But just because it's shiny and new doesn't mean it's necessarily for you. That really did rhyme right there. But chances are, if you've been subscribed to our Flight Time podcast, links down in the description below, we did an episode talking about how we thought the Mavic Mini was going to be boring. But I wanted to touch on, a couple of reasons why it may not be for you if you already own a drone. Chances are, if you subscribe to this channel, you probably already have a drone, whether it be a Mavic 2 Zoom, or maybe even something like the Parrot Anafi or the Autel Evo. Those are all drones that I own. But the Mavic Mini is not going to be really like either of these drones. The Mavic Mini is going to sort of be between the Mavic Air and the Mavic 2 lineup, although lighter than the Anafi, if you can believe that. So a couple of things that I want to touch on really quickly, not wasting too much time. So first things first, let's get the most obvious thing out of the way. There is not going to be any OcuSync present on this drone, which is a big bummer because what we've known to come and love of the Mavic lineup, except for the Mavic Air, is OcuSync. Flying near cities or flying in congested spaces where there's a lot of wireless transmission or even electrical interferences, the Mavic does incredibly well, and it's very, very reliable in those situations, and it's why I typically take this with me on most of my trips. Another thing to consider is the weight. Looking at the Parrot Anafi, the Anafi is a very light drone. I consider this to be the lightest drone I own currently today, and because of that, it tends to get blown around with the wind. Think of it as these two drones stepping into the ring and fighting one another. It'd be like a heavyweight, or I would say maybe a middleweight fighter beating down a welterweight or something, if we want to put it in MMA terms. So you're going to have to consider the fact that because the Mavic Mini is much lighter, it's going to get pushed around a lot more, which can in turn definitely hit the battery life on that. Brings me up to the battery life situation. So one of the things that keeps happening in drones is the tech. All the tech that we keep putting into drones keeps improving, the overall design and technology changes, but battery tech really hasn't changed. Battery tech nor battery quality or battery life has really changed. And that's sort of a bit of a bummer that in 2019, we can't really get much more out of our batteries for longevity or for life. Now, I've said it in the past that 30 minutes of flight is a long time to fly. I can't fly much past 30 minutes, so I'm okay with lessened battery life, but for some who may only want to have to buy maybe 1 or 2 batteries, additionally, 15 minutes of flight is going to be a lot. Now, it's projected, and again, all of this is all speculation at this point until we get these drones in our hands, that it's going to have about 18 minutes of flight time. So 18 minutes to me translates to real-time flight, probably 14 to 15 minutes if I had to say. It's going to be another factor that you're going to have to take into account for. Again, if you already own something like the Mavic 2 or a Parrot Anafi, you may not even be considering the Mavic Mini. So realistically, who is the Mavic Mini for? Well, considering the fact that it hits that weight spec of, I believe, 250 grams, technically speaking, you're not going to have to register that according to FAA laws. Is that a big deal? Maybe, depends on where you're flying. Should you abuse that? Absolutely not. And I think for the most part, most new time flyers or like first time flyers aren't gonna really correlate that into something that they're going to think about as the weight. They're just gonna see it as a cool, cheap drone that they wanna try, and they'll probably have a great experience. So for a new flyer, it's probably more than adequate. But let's just say you're like me and you have the Mavic 2, the Mavic Pro, an Autel Evo. We tend to collect drones, right? Why would I consider buying the Mavic Mini? Well, the only thing I can really think of is because it's so portable, it may be a good light travel drone if I'm flying in an area in which I want to fly, and there could be some potential risks of flying one of these larger drones. That would be one of the reasons why I would even accommodate that or even consider it. It is nice to take the Parrot and Nafi with me on trips because it is so small. It does fold down nice and tight and easy. Another nice thing about the Mavic Mini is the fact that the charger is now going to basically be a power brick, and I'm sure it'll charge no problem, maybe using something like this. This is a MacBook charger. This is a 67 watt MacBook charger, and I'm sure this would charge the Mavic Mini no problem, because I know it charges my Ronins no issue whatsoever, and my iPad. So, however, the only downfall is it doesn't look like there's going to be any inclusion of USB-C on that. Sort of a bummer, because these drones, both use USB-C, and I would really like to start phasing out micro USB chargers from my kit. But those are just a couple of my reasons why you may not want to consider the Mavic Mini. But ultimately, again, if you're watching this, you're probably not even considering it. Again, I know it's easy to get involved in the FOMO, fear of missing out, or even the hype of a new product, but just keep in mind, you probably already have the best of the best. And not talking about camera sensor or quality, because I'll wait until I get one in my hands, because for reviewing these things, well, we'll see what it looks like compared to these two. But anyways, guys, if you found this video interesting and useful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button or the like button, whatever you choose. Either or way, I will see some of you at Spin Up on Friday. Stay original.